What's up, magic makers? Drew here, and today obviously I would like to talk about manifestation, and specifically my understanding, my experience on the topic, as usual. So first and foremost, the absolute most important thing, the key to manifestation, is being in alignment with what it is that we wish to manifest. So this is one of these vague words that kind of float around communities, particularly New Age communities, but let me break down what I mean by being in alignment for you. I'm coming at this topic the only way I know how. So this is from my spiritual understanding and beliefs. This is from a place of sacred geometry and even science. My understanding is that everything is energy. Everything is energy. Everything has an energetic signature. Everything has a vibration, a frequency. Essentially, we're talking about energy and vibration. The vibration of energy, the frequency of energies. So much like when we hear sounds, if the sound is high-pitched to our ear, if I'm not mistaken, it moves at a very fast vibration and frequency. And if it's low to our ear, it moves at a very slow frequency and vibration. These two things, they're two different things. They're not compatible. They are not on the same wavelength, is what I mean by that. So, being a witch, what we do is we manipulate energy, but I'm not even talking about spellcraft. I'm just talking about manifestation without any components, no candles, or just the pure act of manifestation. So in order to manifest something, I need to be in alignment with what it is I'm trying to manifest. Our frequencies need to align. And how do we do this? Okay, I'm going to tell you how I do that. Now, I will say this right off the bat. Our mindset and our emotional state can be of either a great hindrance or a great help to what it is we're trying to manifest. If I go in and I am pessimistic, angry, jaded, even depressed, this could greatly hinder my work with manifestation. On the other hand, if I go in optimistic, childlike, open-minded, grateful, and giving, that I have found these things greatly enhance my ability to manifest. Quickly, let me break each of those down so that you understand what I'm saying. Optimistic is pretty obvious. When I say, as far as manifestation goes, when I say I need to be optimistic, what I need to be is, I need to be aware that what I need or want to manifest is out there. It exists. I need to be aware that I am worthy to receive it. I am capable of receiving it. I need to understand that it is a possibility that good things happen and that I deserve this thing and that I can have this thing and it can come into my life. This is what I mean by optimistic. When I say childlike, when you're a little kid, anything is possible. And this is the way this greatly enhances manifestation. Let's put it that way. If I can suspend my, adult, disbelief, my rational adult thinking long enough to believe anything is possible, that it's possible. It doesn't have to be probable, just possible. That the opportunities are endless. That greatly assists me in my manifesting. When I say that I need to be open-minded, what I mean is that I need to be open to whatever happens. I set my intention for the manifestation. I do the work to create, to manifest. And I need to just be open to it happening however it happens. With manifestation, for me, it's not as much about the journey as it is the destination. And what I mean is I need to have that destination solidly mapped out in my mind. And how we get there isn't necessarily important. If I'm too rigid in how I think I need to get there, it blocks the manifestation. This is what I need. This is exactly what that looks like. And everything else can just fall into place as I go and just accept it. Grateful. I need to be grateful when I'm trying to manifest. And there are many reasons behind this, really. But when we are grateful, when I sit in a place of gratitude, I am a happier, more optimistic person. I am contented. I am focused on the good things in my life, and I'm not focusing on the bad things. So my energy and my vibration is going to be that of a happy, grateful person rather than someone who feels they are lacking or is in a constant state of desire. We're also healthier when we're grateful. When we practice gratitude, we are healthier people because we tend to take better care of ourselves. There are many reasons to practice gratitude, but with regards to manifestation, it helps put me in alignment. It helps put me in the headspace I need to be in. I'm not concentrating on the things I don't have. I am concentrating on all the wonderful blessings I do have. And that, as far as I'm concerned, opens me to receiving more. And lastly, giving. What I mean by giving is I need to look at whomever I meet, see, or even imagine exists that has what it is I want with love. And I need to bless them. I need to say, bless you with whatever it is I want. I hope that you are so happy with whatever it is I want. I hope you get more of what it is I want. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Good for you. I know that you have what I want. I hope you're blessed by it. I know that I can have that too. There's certainly enough for everyone, and, good for you. And that's the attitude I need to have when I'm manifesting. I'll kind of get into specifics about that in a minute. All of these things are helping bring me into vibrational, energetic alignment with what it is I'm seeking. This comes down to me in part about communication. There are various ways to communicate. Of course, as a human being who speaks the English language, that is my primary form of communication. That is the way that I most accurately and easily can communicate what it is I want. But there are, of course, so many subtle forms of communication. Somebody can speak to me and they can say, hey, how you doing? And I can be like, I'm great. Everything is fabulous. Yet my body language could be saying something totally different because I'm not actually being honest with my communication. And I feel like this is a key. And this is why I named those things that I named, those 5 things that I need to be doing actively to be good at manifesting, because they are bringing all of me into alignment. I can be saying all day long, I want such and such. But if there are other things going on inside of me that are resistant to that, I'm not going to get it. For me, these nonverbal types of communication are essential when it comes to manifestation, because you have to think, you're not working with another person one-on-one to manifest this thing. You are working with whatever you want to call it. You are working with the universe. You're working with Goddess. You're working with whatever, a spiritual, magical, energetic influence, entity, being, idea, whatever you want, whatever. And so what we say has power, and it carries a vibration and an energy of itself. But so much else is going on in here, and all of that can negate what we say. I think the easiest way to break this down would be to just give an example of me performing manifestation in my life. And I have several, but the biggest one would be this house. So bear with me. I need to give a bit of backstory quickly first. Basically, I never moved out of my parents' home until I was 34 years old. When I was 19, my older brother died. I was my parents' only child. It was very traumatic for them, my mother in particular. And I really felt this sense of obligation to my parents. There were at least 3 times before I even met my husband that I tried to move out on my own, and my mother sabotaged them. And it's hard to explain, but I mean, even the last time I tried to move out after I was with my husband, we had 3 children between us at this point. And I talked about moving out. My mother told me she would never visit me and blah, blah, blah. And it was just this whole guilt trip. My mother and father's relationship was not good. He was very emotionally and mentally, verbally abusive. And I didn't want to leave my mother in that situation. It was just a whole thing. But I did say to my husband several times, please, let's move out. My kids were in a converted den space. We had a curtain that hung over one side because it was like a balcony and it was open. So they only had 3 walls. So we hung curtains, very thick curtains up there so that at night it would be dark in their room and they could sleep. 3 of them, which there was only ever 2 of them around at any given time. Our daughter, technically my daughter, was only with us during the week and went to her father's on the weekends. Our son, technically his son, was only with us on the weekends and was with his mother during the week. And then our son was with us, of course, 24 hours a day. So there was usually only 2 of them in the room together at one time. And it was a very large room because it was like a living room space that had a den that had been converted into a bedroom. And my husband and I also lived in a room. It had been 2 bedrooms that long before I even met my husband were converted into 1 bedroom. It was very large, but we had a futon in there because it was both our bed and our couch. And we had actually this table right here, it's my work table that I make my candles at, but it's like a little kitchenette table. That was our kitchen table. We had, it was our bedroom, our living room, our dining room, our family room, our kitchen, everything but the bathroom and the kids' room. And we lived like that I lived like that forever. From the age of 19 till I was 34, I lived like that. And my kids and my husband lived that way too. And I told my husband many times, we need to go. And he always said, no, I want you and the kids to have as much time with your mom as possible, which kind of rubbed me the wrong way because my mother did have a lot of health problems, but her mother was even worse. Her mother had a quadruple bypass when she was in her 80s. So I was like, my mom can live to be 80. Her mom did, and she was worse off. But no, my mother died at 59. So my husband was right. But then when she died, then I felt, I can't just run out on my dad now. Even though I pretty much can't stand him, I felt this false sense of obligation. So we stayed, and it was a full year later. And I was at work. He called me for some reason, and I couldn't do what he wanted me to do. He wanted me to take him somewhere or something. And so his reaction was to call me selfish. And that was it. The 34-year-old chick who had never, ever lived on her own because she was so concerned about her parents, particularly her mother, but her parents. And because they wanted me to stay so badly. I mean, my dad used to manipulate me too. He used to try to convince me, like, he's a peach. He used to try to convince me that I would never be able to afford to live on my own. Like, we just couldn't do it. We had to stay with them and blah, blah, blah. And like, he tries to brainwash people. I mean, it's a whole thing. At any rate, I also knew that if we moved out, that it would become like it is. I mean, like I said, I am basically estranged from my father. And so I felt bad, but that set me free, totally set me free. So I had been holding back. I mean, we had actually gone and looked at loans. At one point, we had been told something that wasn't even half the amount of money you need to buy a home where we live, that we were pre-approved for from one of the banks we were with. And that was really discouraging. But we did try. That's when my dad jumped on us and was like, you can never afford it. You can't do it. You can't go. At any rate, well, jumped on me. We had taken real world steps I had personally on several occasions to move out. But I had never practiced manifestation with it, for one. And even if I had, I wasn't in alignment. I always felt this obligation to my parents. I wasn't ready. There was part of me that was resisting. So once he told me, you're selfish, it was over. I called my husband. I'm like, we're out now. I don't care what needs to happen. We're out. We decided to go to my insurance. We have USAA insurance. We decided to go to them for the loan. They gave us a real loan. They pre-approved us for a loan that can actually buy a house where we live. And they even went the extra mile and set us up with a real estate agent. So everything fell into place. We went, we saw the real estate agent. We told him, what we needed and where we needed it to be because we wanted to stay in our kids' school zone. And let me state before we were pre-approved for the loan, before we went to the real estate agent, I had already sat down and had a discussion with Spirit and myself. And I stated what it was exactly that I needed. We needed to stay in the school zone for the kids. I needed a 3-bedroom house. 4 would be nice, but 3 would work. I needed a walk-in closet. I needed 2 bathrooms. I needed a garage. I needed a nice big fenced-in backyard. I needed a pantry, and I needed a little area for my laundry. I didn't want to do laundry in the garage. And that's what I needed. And this all started the day of the argument. And then, I had always gone out and driven around neighborhoods and looked at the houses, but I did so with envy. And I was like, oh, I hate you. Like really just jealous. But from that point on, no more. I drove around nearly daily, and I'm like looking at the houses, and I'm like, you know what? That's not my dream house, but I sure hope it's yours, and bless you in your house. And I have to admit, at first, it wasn't genuine. It took a couple days before I was really feeling, I'm like, yeah, bless you. Good for you. I'm glad you're in your house. I hope you love it. I'm going to have a house too. And I actively went out to bless people in their homes. Like they didn't know I was doing it, but energetically, I'm sending this love and blessings and just like, I am really happy for you. Good for you. And did this regularly. And lastly, I named our house. I said, Spirit, Sacred Hollow is our home. And it's out there somewhere. I don't know where. I don't know what it looks like. These are the parameters that I've listed. Bring me to it. Bring us together. And I knew. It settled in me. It's out there. Sacred Hollow exists. We're going to find it. It might take us 10 years to do so. But I've let it go. I know it's there, and we're going to get it. And so it probably took a week or 2 weeks at most, before we were actually in the office with the real estate agent. It took a couple days, a week total to see houses. So a couple days later, we went and saw a house that's actually in the next neighborhood over. And I knew I didn't want to live there, but I was just like, if Sacred Hollow is there, that's where we're living. So we drove in, and immediately we understood energetically, nothing was right about it. We're like, no. And a couple days later, we came and we saw this house. We had our first walkthrough, and immediately I walk in. Yes. Okay. 2-car garage. Didn't ask for 2-car garage, but hey. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, walk-in closet, pantry, a laundry closet off of the kitchen, and a nice big backyard. No privacy fence, but a nice big backyard. Nearly everything I asked for perfectly. Yes, this is it. And it just said, this is it. Went and told the real estate agent, that's it. That's what we want. She was asking a price. We underbid her a bit, and she just said, fine. Took the underbid. Actually had some stuff repaired around the house as a condition as well. And the whole thing took 2 months at the most, from the day that I said we're out till we were in the house. Even the negotiation back in, the bidding, saying, we'd like to pay this for the house, and her accepting, and then the paperwork going through, even that only took like a week. It went very smoothly, very quickly, very easily. And I know that all of that is down to the manifestation, down to my work that I did. I was absolutely 100% positive that this was going to come to fruition. I didn't know when or where or how, but I knew it was. I was very specific about what it was I wanted, and that is also key in manifestation. And I say being open-minded, I'm not talking about being open-minded about what you want. If you want a car, you better be really specific about what it is you need from the car. Do you need to fit a certain amount of people in? Does it need to be able to travel certain mileages? You just need something to get you back and forth from point A to point B. no big deal. Do you need it to be great on gas mileage? Whatever it is you need to be specific about that. Otherwise, you may end up with a vehicle that doesn't suit your needs. So, as I said with the house, when my father told me I was selfish, it broke that false sense of obligation, and I was finally fully in alignment, and everything was on the same vibration. And then I went out and did the extra work. I actually believed, like childlike belief, that it would happen. And I was giving and blessing others in their work, and so on and so forth. Now I want to talk about something else that's very important when it comes to manifestation, and that is shadow work. Again, I will give you an example. I am not great. I'm really good at manifesting, except when it comes to my business. And the only reason I'm not good at manifesting when it comes to my business is because I'm not perfectly in alignment. I have resistance. I have fear. There's fear of failure, but that's really, no, I don't really have that. What I have is a fear of success. I have no idea what that looks like. The dream has always been that I would have a brick and mortar shop one day. And I never expected my business to take the turn it has. If you would have said to me in 2007 through 2012 that I would be shipping packages of my product to China, I would not have believed you. So it's not at all the direction I thought that I was going to go in. It is a measure of success, but it's not. I know that if I were in alignment, if I did shadow work to get rid of this fear that I have of, what does it look like to have to pay all the bills for the building and to maybe have employees and to have insurance and just all these things, what that looks like and what stresses that would bring. And, I have no idea. I've never done anything like that. So the fear of that unknown, if I could do the work and get rid of that, there would be no stopping me. I know 100% I would have a brick and mortar shop, and I would go to gem and mineral shows every year, and just the whole thing would fall into place. And I genuinely hope that it does that one day, because I do want that. And I'm saying that with my words, but in me, there is definitely an energetic signature of fear, and I am blocking that shit. So there are many steps for manifestation that are sort of outside, if you will, like the shadow work and the going, the gratitude and the different elements of our mental and emotional state that are important to manifestation. It's kind of rambly and all over the place. I hope it made sense. Again, as always, this is just me talking here. I am not an expert. I know what works for me. And I do believe that we each carry our own energies and ideas and attitudes and beliefs that influence how we work. So the way that you work with manifestation may be very different. But if my way of working manifestation could be of benefit to anyone in helping them break through some boundaries or jump hurdles or whatever they need to do to be better at manifesting, then I'm all about it. So this video is really long. I apologize. Thank you so much for listening to me blab on, guys. And as always, until next time, much love and gratitude.